Hey everyone, welcome to Speak Fluent with Armin, the podcast where we make learning English fun, easy, and super practical. I'm Armin, your host.
And I'm Linda, your co-host. We're here to help you build confidence in English, no matter where you are in the world.
Today, we've got an exciting episode lined up. We will be analyzing a text that breaks down powerful tips for English learners in non-English speaking countries. Each tip comes with detailed explanations, practical steps, and the reasons why they actually work.
That's right. Whether you're struggling with fluency, pronunciation, or finding the right study strategies, we've got you covered. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive into today's episode.
Let's get started.
Tips for English learners in non-English speaking countries. 1. Create your own English environment. Since English isn't naturally around you, you can build an immersive experience yourself. How to do it? Change your phone, computer, and social media interfaces to English. You'll encounter words like settings, messages, or share daily. Label household items with sticky notes, write table, mirror, or door, and stick them where you'll see them often. Play English music, podcasts, or TV shows in the background during chores or downtime. Try stations like BBC Radio or podcasts like 6 Minute English. Extra insight. You don't need to understand everything at first. The goal is exposure. Your brain will gradually pick up patterns and words. Why it works. Constant contact with English, even passively, mimics the immersion of living in an English-speaking place. Over time, it feels less foreign and more familiar.
Alright, let's break this down. Create your own English environment. Since English isn't naturally around you, you have to build that immersion yourself.
Exactly. And the cool part is, you don't need to travel abroad to do it. The first tip here is to change your phone, computer, and social media settings to English. It sounds simple, but it's a game changer.
Think about it. You check your phone dozens of times a day. If everything is in English, you'll start recognizing words like settings, notifications, and messages without even trying.
Another great idea is labeling household items. Writing mirror on your mirror, fridge on your fridge. It forces you to associate everyday objects with their English names.
And then there is passive listening, playing English music, podcasts, or TV shows in the background. Even if you don't understand everything at first, your brain is still absorbing the sounds and structures of English.
Exactly. And that's why this method works. It mimics how people learn languages naturally. The more you're surrounded by English, the more familiar and comfortable it becomes.
Alright, let's continue to the next part and see what other tips we've got.
2. Use language learning apps for structured practice. Apps offer an easy, structured way to learn at your own pace. How to do it? Pick an app that fits your needs. Duolingo for fun, game-like lessons, Babbel for practical conversations, or Memrise for memorizing words. Commit to 10-15 minutes daily, maybe during a break or before sleep. Set a reminder to stay on track. Focus on all skills. Practice listening with audio exercises, speaking by repeating phrases, and writing with quizzes. Extra insight. Experiment with a few apps to find one you enjoy. Liking the process keeps you motivated. Why it works. Apps break learning into small, digestible pieces, making it less overwhelming. Plus, progress trackers show how far you've come, boosting your confidence.
Alright, let's dive into the second tip. Using language learning apps for a structured practice. Now, this is a great strategy because it gives learners a structured way to practice at their own pace.
Exactly. And the best part is, there's an app for every learning style. Duolingo is great if you enjoy gamified lessons, Babbel is more focused on real-life conversations, and Memrise is excellent for memorizing vocabulary.
Right, but the key here isn't just downloading an app. It's about consistency. Committing to just 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a huge difference, maybe during a break or right before bed, and setting reminders can really help you stay on track.
Plus, these apps don't just teach vocabulary, they cover all skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So instead of just memorizing words, you're actually using them in different ways.
That's a great point. And let's not forget, using an app that you enjoy makes learning feel less like a chore. If you like the process, you're more likely to stick with it.
Exactly. And the reason why this works so well is that apps break learning into small, manageable chunks. That way, it doesn't feel overwhelming, and you can actually see your progress, which keeps you motivated.
Absolutely. Alright, now that we have covered this tip, let's continue with the next one.
3. Watch English media with purpose. Movies, shows, and videos are great for learning if you use them actively. How to do it? Start with simple content, cartoons like Peppa Pig for beginners or sitcoms like Friends for intermediate learners. Use subtitles. Begin with your native language to follow along, then switch to English to match words to sounds. Pause after interesting lines, repeat them aloud, and jot down new phrases to practice later. Extra insight. Pick genres you love. Enjoyment makes learning feel effortless. Rewatch favorites to catch more details each time. So, why it works. You'll hear natural English, accents, slang, and tone while improving listening skills. It's like eavesdropping on real conversations without leaving home.
Alright, let's break this down. Watch English media with purpose. This is such a powerful strategy because it turns passive watching into active learning.
Exactly. A lot of learners watch English content but don't really engage with it. This tip reminds us that if you watch with purpose, you can absorb so much more.
Let's go step by step. First, starting with simple content. I love this idea. If you're a beginner, cartoons like Peppa Pig are great because the language is slow and clear. And if you're at an intermediate level, sitcoms like Friends give you everyday English with humor.
Yes, and subtitles can be a game changer. If English subtitles feel overwhelming, it's okay to start with your native language. Then, gradually switch to English to connect words with their pronunciation.
I also have the idea of pausing after interesting lines. Repeating them out loud not only helps with pronunciation, but also makes new phrases stick. And writing them down, that's a solid way to reinforce learning.
Absolutely. Plus, picking genres you enjoy makes learning feel effortless. If you love mystery shows, watch those. If you're into comedy, go for it. The more you enjoy it, the more you'll stick with it.
And the best part, why this works. Watching English media exposes you to real-life speech, slang, and different accents. It's like getting a sneak peek into natural conversations, all from the comfort of your home.
Exactly. You're not just learning words, you're absorbing the rhythm and tone of English.
Alright, that was a great breakdown. Let's continue with the next part.
Read English books, blogs, or news. Reading builds vocabulary and grammar through real examples. How to do it? Choose beginner-friendly texts. Children's books like The Very Hungry Caterpillar, graded readers, or sites like BBC Learning English. Guess unknown words from the story instead of rushing to a dictionary. It's okay to skip a few and keep going. Read aloud to practice pronunciation and record yourself to hear your progress over time. Extra insight. Start short, even a paragraph a day adds up. Gradually try blogs or news as you get comfortable. Why it works. Reading shows you how English flows in sentences, not just isolated words. It's a quiet, stress-free way to grow your skills.
Alright, let's dive into this tip. Reading English books, blogs, or news. This is a fantastic way to absorb vocabulary and grammar naturally.
Exactly. And I love that it suggests starting with beginner-friendly materials. A lot of learners try to jump straight into complex novels and get frustrated. Books like The Very Hungry Caterpillar or Graded Readers are perfect stepping stones.
Yes, and I really like the idea of guessing unknown words instead of always relying on a dictionary. It forces your brain to make connections and improves comprehension skills.
Right? Plus, reading aloud and recording yourself? That's such an underrated tip. When you listen back, you can hear if you're pronouncing words correctly and improve over time.
Let's not forget the why it works part. Reading helps learners see how English flows naturally, rather than memorizing individual words. It's like picking up the rhythm of the language without even realizing it.
Exactly. And I love that it encourages starting small. Just a paragraph a day can make a big difference.
Alright, great discussion. Let's continue with the next part.
Five, practice speaking with language partners online. Speaking can feel scary, but online partners make it easier and fun. How to do it? Use apps like Tandem, HelloTalk, or Italki to find native speakers or learners. Search for people who share your interests. Begin with text chats to build confidence, then try voice messages or calls about simple topics like movies or food. Embrace mistakes. Most partners are happy to help and won't judge. Focus on getting your point across. Extra insight. Schedule short, regular chats, even 10 minutes, to build a habit without pressure. Why it works. Speaking practice improves fluency and teaches you to respond quickly, mimicking real-life talks. It's also a chance to make friends.
Let's break this down. This section is all about practicing speaking with language partners online. A lot of English learners hesitate when it comes to speaking, but this method makes it easier and even enjoyable.
Exactly. The first step is to use apps like Tandem, HelloTalk, or Italki. These platforms connect you with native speakers or other learners, which is great because you can find people who share your interests.
Right, and I love the idea of starting with text chats first. It takes the pressure off, while still helping you get used to sentence structures and common expressions. Then, as you build confidence, you can move to voice messages or calls.
Yeah, and they even suggest talking about simple topics like movies or food. That's a great way to ease into conversations without feeling overwhelmed.
And this part is super important. Embracing mistakes. A lot of learners worry too much about speaking perfectly, but the key is to just communicate. Most language partners won't judge. In fact, they will probably be excited to help.
Absolutely. And I really like the extra tip about short, regular chats. Even 10 minutes a day can make a huge difference, and it keeps the habit going without feeling like a big task.
Plus, the reason this method works so well is that it improves fluency and helps you think faster in English. It's like practicing for real-life conversations, and who knows, you might even make some new friends along the way.
That's a win-win. All right, let's continue to the next part and see what other great tips we have.
Join online English communities or clubs. Online groups connect you with learners and speakers worldwide. How to do it. Find communities on Discord, Reddit, like r/r's English Learning, or virtual meetup events for English practice. Ease in by reading discussions, then comment or ask questions. Join voice chats when you're ready. Watch how others use English. Copy casual phrases or slang you like. Extra insight. Look for groups tied to your hobbies, gaming, cooking, etc. to keep it engaging. Why it works. It's a relaxed way to practice all skills, reading, writing, listening, speaking, while learning from a crowd. No tests, just conversation.
Join online English communities or clubs. This is such a powerful strategy because it connects you with real people who use English daily.
Exactly. And the best part is, it's not just about studying, it's about interacting naturally. Like it says here, you can join platforms like Discord, Reddit, or even virtual meetup events.
Yes, and I like the advice about easing in. You don't have to start speaking right away. First, read the discussions, see how people phrase their sentences, then slowly start commenting and asking questions.
And once you're comfortable, joining voice chats is a game changer. You get to hear different accents, learn real-life expressions, and practice speaking in a low-pressure way.
That is such an important point. Plus, I love the idea of finding groups related to your hobbies. If you're into gaming, cooking, or even photography, there is a community for that. And when you're talking about something you love, learning English feels natural and fun.
And look at the Why It Works section. It really highlights how you're practicing all skills at once. You read messages, write responses, listen to voice chats, and speak when you're ready. And there are no tests, just real conversations.
Yep, no pressure, just learning through interaction. Alright, let's continue with the next part.
7. Write in English daily. Writing locks in what you've learned and sharpens your expression. How to do it. Keep a journal. Write 2 to 3 sentences about your day. I ate rice today, or it's raining outside. Use prompts if needed. Share posts on Twitter, Instagram, or Lang8, where native speakers can correct you kindly. Use tools like Grammarly to catch mistakes and improve sentence flow. Extra insight. Don't worry about perfection. Start simple and add detail as you improve. Why it works. Writing makes you think through grammar and word choice, reinforcing rules. Feedback turns errors into lessons.
Okay, let's break this down. The next tip is write in English daily. This is a game changer because it helps lock in everything you've learned and makes your expression much clearer.
Exactly. And I love that the first suggestion is to keep a journal. You don't need to write a whole essay, just 2 to 3 sentences about your day, like, I went to the gym or I watched a great movie. Simple but effective.
And if you want feedback, posting on platforms like X, Instagram, or Lang8 is a great idea.
Plus, tools like Grammarly are super helpful for catching mistakes. And here's something important. Don't stress about being perfect. Just start, and with time, you'll naturally get better.
Right, and the reason this works is that writing forces you to think about grammar and vocabulary in a way that speaking doesn't. You slow down, choose the right words, and reinforce what you've learned.
Exactly. So if you're not writing in English yet, start today. Even one sentence is progress.
Alright, let's continue to the next part.
Think in English. Training your mind to use English speeds up fluency. How to do it. Narrate your actions silently. I'm drinking water, or I see a bird outside. Skip translating from your native language. Stick to basic English, even if it's not fancy. Use English for personal thoughts, like planning your day. I need to buy milk later. Extra insight. Start with a few minutes daily and expand as it feels natural. It's okay if it's slow at first. Why it works. Thinking in English cuts the middle step of translation, making speaking and reacting faster and smoother.
Okay, let's take a closer look at this tip. Think in English. This is a game changer when it comes to improving fluency. Training your brain to switch to English automatically can really speed things up. It's all about reducing the time it takes to form sentences by thinking directly in English, without that translation step.
Exactly. And it's so simple to get started. For example, you can try narrating your actions silently, like, I'm drinking water, or I see a bird outside. It doesn't have to be perfect or fancy, just focus on using English in your everyday thoughts.
Right, and the key here is consistency. Even if you're just thinking basic English at first, like, I need to buy milk later, it will really help. Over time, your brain will start to make those English connections more naturally.
That's a great point, Armin. And remember, it's okay if it feels slow at first. Start with a few minutes daily and gradually extend it as you feel more comfortable. The important thing is to keep practicing without worrying about perfection.
Absolutely. The more you think in English, the less you'll need to translate in your head, which makes the speaking and reacting much faster and smoother. It's all about building that mental muscle.
Now that we've broken that down, let's continue to the next part.
9. Set small, achievable goals. Clear goals keep you moving forward without stress. How to do it? Make them specific. Learn 5 food words today or read 1 English article this week. Track them in a notebook or app. Check off each success to see your growth. Adjust if needed. Scale up 10 words or down 3 words to match your pace. Extra insight. Tie goals to your life, like learning travel phrases before a trip to stay inspired. Why it works. Small wins build momentum and confidence. You'll feel accomplished without burning out.
Alright, let's dive into tip number 9. Set a small achievable goals. This is such an important one, don't you think, Linda?
Absolutely, Armin. Small, clear goals can make a huge difference. If you break down your learning into manageable chunks, it's way easier to stay motivated. For example, instead of saying, "I want to be fluent in English," you can say, "Today I'll learn 5 food-related words." This makes it super clear and achievable.
Exactly, and tracking your progress, whether in a notebook or an app, lets you see how much you have accomplished. It's all about those small wins that keep you going and build confidence.
And don't forget to adjust your goals if needed. If you're hitting 5 words a day easily, try 10. If not, scale it back a little. It's all about finding the pace that works for you.
Right, and here is a little extra insight. Tying your goals to real-life situations can help you stay inspired. For example, if you're planning a trip, learning travel phrases is a great way to stay motivated.
Exactly, and the best part about small goals is that they help you build momentum. You'll be surprised at how fast you can improve when you're not overwhelming yourself.
Definitely. Now let's continue with the next part.
10. Be consistent and patient. Fluency grows with steady effort, not rushed leaps. How to do it? Practice daily, even just 5 minutes. Listen to a song, write a sentence, or review words. Celebrate tiny victories, catching a word in a movie or chatting without freezing. Accept slow days. Mistakes and plateaus are normal, so keep pushing gently. Extra insight. Treat it like brushing your teeth. A little every day adds up. Why it works. Consistency turns practice into habit, and patience keeps you from quitting. Progress sneaks up on you over time. How final words of motivation. You don't need to be in an English-speaking country to succeed. Your effort creates your own path. Pick 1 or 2 tips to start and add more as you gain confidence. Every step, watching a clip, speaking a phrase, or reading a line, brings you closer to fluency. You've got this. Keep at it and you'll surprise yourself with how far you can go.
Alright, let's jump into this first tip. Be consistent and patient. It is such a powerful message because fluency doesn't happen overnight. As the text mentions, it grows with a steady effort. Even if you only practice for 5 minutes a day, that consistency adds up over time.
Exactly, Armin. And I love the idea of celebrating tiny victories. Whether you catch a new word in a movie or manage to have a conversation without freezing, those little moments matter. It's all part of the journey.
And the insight about treating it like brushing your teeth is spot on. A little bit of effort every day makes all the difference. Plus, consistency turns what feels like a chore into a habit that you don't have to think twice about.
And let's not forget about the importance of patience. There will be slow days, and that's completely normal. Mistakes and plateaus are part of the process. The key is to keep pushing forward without getting discouraged.
Right. So with that in mind, let's continue with the next part. Final words of motivation. I really love this part because it's so encouraging. It reminds us that the journey to fluency doesn't depend on where you are in the world. It's all about the effort you put in.
Exactly. You don't need to be surrounded by English speakers to become fluent. It's all about making those small, consistent steps. I love how it says to pick 1 or 2 tips to start with. It's about focusing on what you can do now, not overwhelming yourself with everything at once.
Absolutely. Each little action, whether it's watching a clip, speaking a phrase, or even reading a sentence, is a step toward fluency. It's like building a muscle. Every little practice makes you stronger.
And the most important part is the encouragement at the end. You've got this. It's so easy to get discouraged, but staying consistent and celebrating those small wins will lead to big results over time.
You will surprise yourself with how far you can go if you just stick with it. Trust me, every learner has the ability to achieve their goals. Just keep going.
Well, that wraps up today's episode. Thanks for joining us on Speak Fluent with Armin. We hope you feel motivated and ready to take action on your English learning journey.
Keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and remember, fluency is a journey, not a destination. See you in the next episode.
Take care, everyone, and keep speaking fluent English.